Holy mice with wings, Batman! Tiki here, and here we are at the end of the original run of Batman the Animated Series before the transition, before everything changes. And let's just get one last grasp in. We've got a movie left. Anyways, I'm watching Batman the Animated Series through for the first time. And Dragon, there's not even any Batman in this episode. He's off in Paris somewhere. What's going on? Is this the end of Dark Knight Rises? Splain, Dragon. Splain.
Well, you see, folks, long ago, I made a vow about educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way, which is why I'm here.
And tonight, we're talking Batgirl Returns.
Dun, 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 dun,
dun. All right, Dragon, I got to admit, I'm just going to say right off the bat, I'm not too crazy about this one. I think it's a pretty average episode. I mean, there's nothing too wrong with it. It's got some good Catwoman dynamics, and if I'm remembering correctly, I think Batwoman's going to be a bigger character moving forward into the final season, right?
Well, first of all, Batgirl is a very important distinction. In
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to say I don't mean to usher in those connotations, Dragon. I'm terribly sorry. Yeah.
But yes, Batgirl, she definitely steps up in the revamp, because remember, she's introduced on the fringes, and we built her up as Barbara Gordon, and then we've introduced her as Batgirl very sparingly. She only had her intro, and then this is the second time we've seen her as Batgirl. And again, this is her not sanctioned by Batman yet. Which when we get into the new adventures, the revamp, then she's sanctioned. So that's what we have to look forward to.
So yeah, I do think it's an interesting kind of transitional episode. Of course, barring in mind the movie that we're also getting to. I'm sorry, I said TV movie. It's a straight to video movie. There's a distinction.
Yeah.
Just want to highlight my mistake there. Among the many mistakes I made, and I usually make with the intro. But, yeah, Dragon, I don't know. I'm kind of bordering somewhere between like and indifference with this episode, I gotta say. I do think it's kind of clever how Batman's written out, but by the same time, I kind of long for Batman. I think it's weird that the last proper episode of this show before the transition, Batman is just kind of dicking around in Paris somewhere. So, with that in mind, like I said, it's decent. It's not really my cup of tea, though. One observation, though, Dragon, I thought it was kind of funny that the episode is called Batgirl Returns. And, of course, Batman Returns is the show that started Batman the Animated Series to begin with. It was kind of like the thing that Batman the Animated Series was rooted in. So I kind of thought it was funny that the last original run episode of Batman the Animated Series is Batgirl Returns. I don't know. I just thought that was a little bit of symmetry there.
It is quite poetic in a sense, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, a little bit of context. There's not a whole lot with this episode. So let me list off kind of the bona fide here. So, of course, our director, the great Dan Reba. Dan Reba's been around. I really refreshed myself a little bit on the Dan Reba lore. And Dan Reba, he's been around as he did character work. Working on the models and everything, and kind of working his way up, so to speak, ever since the beginning. This guy's been around since On Leather Wings. Dan Reba is the reason. Like, this is what I'm talking. He's about the little details. Like, Man Bat's awesome, like bat fingers. Like an actual bat that leads like the wings and everything.
Yeah.
That's Dan Reba's call. Original Man Bat in the comics didn't have this. How do we make Man Bat look cooler? Well, there you go. He plussed it. So Dan Reba's been doing those little things, and he's worked his way up to director. And he's kind of like the Dan Scanlon of the animated series. He's kind of worked his way up to prominence, and he's he's a lot of promise. And you're going to see he went all over the place in the DCAU because of his working his way up to kind of be the grand poobah of season 3. Mm. Directing a lot of great episodes. If we'll list off a few, Lockup, Riddler's Reform.
I really, really liked Lockup, man. That was one of my favorites of season 3.
That's what I'm saying. Reba's behind. Again, Reba, he was like, he became a really great player within the DC universe.
Yeah, I think the Scanlon analogy is on point.
Absolutely. So, he did Lockup, Riddler's Reform, Time Out of Joint. I've listed that in kind of the returns kind of column what this episode is, like the kind of the Riddler's Reform and such. We had two writers on this. One, we had the great Michael Reeves behind Second Chance this season, the second Two-Face episode, and a Bullet for Bullock. Not only that, as I always like those, Phantasm. So Reeves, my guy. Bryony Steffens, she's kind of the Batgirl special. She's been working on Barbara Gordon pretty much on all their episodes. She did the Heart of Steel two-parter, which we meet her. I think we got it. I don't. Yeah, I think we meet her for the first time in Heart of Steel. Then she comes back in Eye in the Night. So she did that, and she did Shadow of the Bat, which is when she suits up as Batgirl. So we have the Batgirl specialist on this one, which is good. Studio Tiki, wave a little hanky to it, man.
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay, I have good news for you, though. Okay, so one,
Sub-Zero is Don Yang.
Sub-Zero is the swan song
good,
of Don Yang.
Okay.
Okay, so that's like
it's gonna be so sad, Dragon. It's gonna be so sad.
But Tiki,
we've been on a journey here.
I think this episode, and especially Sub-Zero, it's Dong Yang's finest hour. Like, they went out on a high note. So this is what I'm saying. So Dong Yang, some other great looking episodes they did: Catwalk, Deep Freeze, Riddler's Reform. Again, these guys, top notch. Especially, they did really good work on the Catwoman episodes. But seriously, this and Catwalk look fantastic. That's the main thing, feather in this cap this episode has for me. It looks gorgeous.
I mean, I'll give it that, Dragon. I'll give it that for sure.
So again, pretty much this episode in Deep Freeze, they kind of there's a fun story which I'm going to save for when we get to Sub-Zero, because Deep Freeze wasn't intended to It ended up being a setup for Sub-Zero, but it wasn't the intention. It was just another Mr. Freeze episode, but it was left open-ended enough to become Sub-Zero, which I'll get into more detail once we get there. But the point being, retroactively, these are kind of the setup to the big players that are going to have a huge role in Sub-Zero. So that's kind of what these two episodes have. They really pushed. I think one of the reasons this episode looks so good is Dan Reba. He really pushed the cute animation on Batgirl, which adds a lot of great character and personality to her. He kind of based it off of a comic artist by the name of Owen Fitzgerald. A lot of his work with like kind of the cutesy girl art. So
it's a really fun contrast with her and Catwoman too.
Certainly. Oh my goodness. And so that's pretty much all I got. So let's just dive right into it.
Okie dokie. Oh God, Dragon. All right, I want to know your thoughts on this dream sequence, buddy. I'm going to throw it to you because, of course, you very adamantly you're not big on the Batman Batgirl shipping.
No, honestly, no one really is, Tiki. I'm not that alone in that. But
so what say you, Dragon? Because here we go. Batgirl returns. We're gonna plant our flag right at the beginning of the episode, firmly in that camp.
Yeah, there's
we need to we would be burying the lead if we didn't just immediately address that, Dragon.
All right, okay, so
we can't even we'll go through. There's some fun villain stuff, but we need to address that.
You want to talk about it up front versus at the end.
I just want to talk about it up front, and then we'll go through the villain stuff. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Just to acknowledge it. We basically have kind of a. Here's the thing. Bruce Timm was the one, and of course you can definitely see this by the time we get to Killing Joke years later. Bruce Timm has always been the advocate. It was his bright idea to do the whole Batgirl Batman
Bruce,
thing.
What are you doing, buddy? Come on.
This is what I'm saying. Every time we love Bruce Timm, again, Bruce Timm, of course, is nothing to knock from the guy. The guy, again, very much builds the work Batman answers. Again, lauded and still wonderful. But I'm saying, though, to get the truly majestic impact of Batman the Animated Series, it's a two-part compound. It's Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. But yeah, Bruce Timm, basically his rationale was always this, and this is the episode where they really did something with. This is where it kind of starts, and then it's kind of there, and it's kind of loosely threaded until it gets kind of sometimes a little on the nose threaded. Which again, the idea is he wanted to do it because it was different. It was it was a little sick and wrong, and it was different. He kind of wanted to lean it. Literally, it was kind of his logic. Well, yeah, no, everyone's like, oh, how can you do it? Batman and Batgirls? It's like, yeah, but no one else is going to do that, though. Let's try that. And in his defense, I will say this, and the way they do in this episode here, I feel, mainly because it's a dream, I can fully get behind because it's a dream, because it plays into the whole, it's a schoolgirl's crush, which I can get behind. Okay, she's got a schoolgirl's crush. She's not working on...
Just to connect the dots here, just so I know where we are continuity-wise. She doesn't know who Batman
No.
is at this point.
That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay.
In the original animated series, which we're at now, including in Sub-Zero, she doesn't know. Okay, she does.
Does she know who Robin is?
No, she's on the fringe. She's not in the cave yet. She doesn't know
Okay,
anything.
gotcha. Okay.
There were talks, but again, I'll save it for Sub-Zero. No, she doesn't know anything yet. New Adventures is when she's in the know. That's when she's in the club. That's when she knows everything.
Okay, I hear you.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, just it's like she's been saved by she's interacted with Batman as Barbara Gordon and as Batgirl in the series. So she's developed like a schoolgirl's crush, and that's looking at it that way. I'm like, oh, she's dreaming about this really kind of uber romantic encounter with Batman, which is that's what I'm saying. It's cute, but when we actualize it later on, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like here's the thing. The age difference has never bothered me with that. Okay, the age difference isn't what bothers because
It's the Jim Gordon thing.
that's the thing that bothers me.
Yeah,
It's like,
I agree.
Batman's
I
friend's
agree.
daughter. That's the thing I can never because we bring it up in Batman Beyond, and that's when we actually basically canonize the whole thing. We bring it up, and that's like initially it's like, yeah, well, they're older, it doesn't has much of an ick factor, but then I realize, oh wait, that's his friend's daughter. Oh, that's still not right.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so off this kind of getting back into the chronology of things.
Okay, let's talk about some fun villain cameos, Dragon. Those are always fun, right?
Yeah, so my favorite detail on this, I never realized this until the rewatch, which blew me away. We start off with we're seeing the Han Dynasty exhibit of Gotham University, and the Jade Cat is stolen by some silhouetted figure, and then Batman arrives on a rooftop. Now, what's so brilliant about this is that we're blending reality and the dream. It's a great misdirect.
Yeah.
Because you think, okay, we're in the middle of the Batman adventure now. No, it's like, oh my god, it's such a great like switcheroo. I loved it. Oh, he's a Batman arrives on a rooftop in pursuit of who we're not sure until he's interrupted by the Penguin waiting with like an electrical feature on his umbrella, shocks the crap out of Batman. And my god, the lighting on these guys. I mean, Penguin again. I didn't count this as like the last like send off of the Penguin because it's the dream, so clearly it doesn't count. But it's cool though.
All right, there's one scene in particular that we'll get to, Dragon, that has some lighting and some audio that, man, it really pulled an atmosphere for me.
That's what I'm saying. This whole scene is like Penguin's lighting with the electricity.
I'm not talking about this scene in particular. We'll get to it. But you're right. This scene is good too.
I'm saying the episode as a whole, I think it just turned out wonderfully in terms of like visualization and atmosphere and the whole nine yards in that regard. So point being, like, Batman's like, we reveal the Penguin. Batman's going for a battering, and then razor sharp playing card takes it out of his hands, and we reveal Joker and Two-Face. Two-Face flipping his coin. He draws the guns on Batman. 3-1. He's cornered. He's a little knocked out from the electricity. Oh no! What's a poor Batman to do? He's the Batman in distress. Who are we gonna call? Well, we look over this other. Hey, back off, guy! Back off, creeps! And we hear a familiar Batgirl theme. And who is it? It's Batgirl. So then she does the money shot of the title card. She leaps across the moon, which is awesome. Very agile. She basically single-handedly takes them all out. She kicks Two-Face, knockout punches the Joker, and punches and leaps on. I love how she leaps on the Penguin, jumps on his giant stomach. So she then aids the wounded and very grateful Batman.
Oh boy.
Are you all right? Yes, thanks, Steven. I gotta tell you, I love this romantic suite that we play. Like this giant
yeah. It's like cue the violins, right?
Which is great. It's like this big. It's like an old like a Kiss from the movie sort of thing. Like in the 40s. So anyway, so we have the money shot silhouette of like her hair and her cape floating against the moonlight. And it's like so Batman's going for the kiss, and then interrupted by we have kind of
Barbara. Hey, Babs!
He is here, full on Lorne Lester coming out of Batman. I love remember the animation, do like the really dreamlike squash and stretchy sort of thing, and this is really clever, Tiki. On the rewatch, they added little cartoony clues within this fight, so you can know it's a dream if you didn't know before the whole romance.
Oh, okay. So there. I did notice that the Joker, there was some wonky animation going on with him. I don't think I noticed anything else.
Yeah, like Joker's a little thinner than he usually is, and he goes down like $10, like $1.50 soaking wet. We have again, basically she kicks Two-Face across the roof, and I mean, look, she's powerful. I don't know if she's that powerful. It's like I don't.
No, yeah. I'm glad you pointed that
That's
out
what I'm
because
saying. Those details, they're
it's
intentional.
subtle, but it's there.
I know,
Yeah.
and how she makes that leap across the roof, where later on we call this back, where she needs the grappling hook to get across the roof like that. So that's what I'm saying. Again, it's like it's like little dreamlike clues, almost perchance the dream-esque in a sense, subtle. Anyway, so then we do a whole squash and stretch thing about it. Like, hey, Babs, wake! And then she wakes up. She's been dreaming, having about her little schoolgirl's crush on Batman. Um, Basically, Dick Grayson. The idea is that Dick and Barbara, they're kind of an item. They're kind of an item. It's going to get a lot closer when we get to Sub-Zero, but the idea is at this point they're kind of they're on the they're kind of something.
Gotcha.
So Dick's asking Barbara if she wants to do a pizza run.
That's another. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna pause right there. That's another reason why Bruce and
I know
just shouldn't happen.
Tiki, there's something I could tell you, but it's just gonna mess with your poor little head. I can't tell you.
Oh God! All right.
Yeah, I can't do it until we get to Batman Beyond. I really can't do it.
Okay.
Right. So. Anyway, let's see. So, anyway, hey, want to go on a pizza run? And Barbara can't because if she doesn't ace this midterm, her father's going to throw her in jail. And with her father, that's not a threat. That's a very.
I think it's another thing that her father. Anyways.
Okay, let's not linger on it yet until.
Father should throw Bruce in jail. All right, I'm sorry.
Hasn't happened yet.
I'm sorry.
So, anyway, says, okay, we'll catch you later. I always liked there's a really fun dichotomy here that Dan Reba really liked. The idea that Dick Grayson and Barbara like each other, but Robin's always a little, he's always putting poor Batgirl down if you really look at it. All right, so math, the universal thought we've always had, Tiki.
Why did it have to be math? Yeah, math is probably one of the big reasons I never passed college. Just going to be honest.
So then, I don't know if she's at the dorm or if she's at her house, Jim Gordon's house, because either Gordon or a roommate drops off the mail under the door. I like to think it's Gordon. I like to think it's her house, but that's just me. We have a little headline. The Jade Cat has been stolen from the university. The idea is the university. She's probably at Gotham University as well, which is where Dick Grayson is. That's probably how they kind of met each other, and et cetera, et cetera. So the point being, everything's localized is what I like to think here. I love, as I already mentioned, the whole editing from the Reality of the Dream with the cat statue being stolen. Like, okay, that really happened. Now we got kind of an occasion for story here. So she takes a break. We'll take a little break. So we're going to the crime scene, but not with Batgirl initially. We're going. Catwoman is at the crime scene because Tiki, if it's you or if it's me, Jade Cat is stolen. Who's the prime suspect? Honestly, it ain't the Penguin.
Yeah. Clayface.
Well, he would be a great frame-up job, let's be honest. But okay. All right, so point being, Catwoman's at the scene of the crime, and she's seeing like the burnt locks and everything in a very intact glass case, but all this is interrupted by Batgirl.
Yeah, so Batgirl's just basically like, oh, I caught you at the scene of the crime.
Yeah. So this is their first
fight ensues.
Yeah, and I love how evenly matched they are in this fight, which is really awesome, isn't it? Like, Catwoman, it's almost like Batman and Joker in Dark Knight Returns when they just, like, spring back into action. You see these two very agile, very evenly matched, where, like, she goes for the whip, Batgirl, basically she kicks her, and then Batgirl, like, agilely lands on her feet, and then, like, goes for the whip, and Batgirl just, like, throws the batarang to cut through the whip. Awesome!
Yeah.
Yep. So Catwoman, very sly, very cocky and confident. I love how the animation reflects this. Especially Catwoman's facial animation is flawless in this whole episode. Basically, you caught me. Yeah, you caught me in the middle of nothing. I didn't do this. Basically, Catwoman says. Mm-hmm. Gives like a BS line. I'm going to try to find the statue because it belongs to the world. All right.
It belongs in a museum.
Essentially.
All right, sorry, Dragon. I was just waiting to do that.
Right, pull the other one. So I love that the fun thing with Batgirl versus Catwoman is that Batgirl, she's immune to the Catwoman effect versus Batman. She ain't falling for it.
No, you're right. It is a fun pair up, and that's probably my favorite thing about the episode. And The episode, the series has done this a few times where they pair up, these dynamic duos of interesting female characters. Of course, we see that with Harley and Ivy. We even saw that with Harley's Holiday.
Yeah.
And so, this is another example of that. Like probably the most, the most good-natured female character on the show versus the most out for herself female character on the show.
Yeah, so the big thing in Catwoman's defense that she points out, like, there was acid. Acid was the main component here. It was used through the alarm cord, and again, as she demonstrates doing her iconic kind of signature, she used the little claws to, the diamond tip claws to cut a circle into the thing. So, clearly, not her style. Batgirl suggests, okay, let's just explain this down the GCPD headquarters, and it's just also not my style. I love the fluid end. She just throws, like, the little glass circle, just, like, shatters off screen. So then, right before the cat fight, breaks out, Robin interrupts. Didn't expect it. Was coming here for the robbery. Didn't expect the convention. Like, what's going on? I'm supposed to be the one costume guy here. What's going on?
Oh, God.
So
Catwoman has a really agile, really cool escape dragon. I love how it's animated.
Yeah.
She's just kind of like scurrying across the, across the museum ceiling.
Yeah.
All right.
So Batgirl, she tries to stop Robin by explaining the whole, like, it was an acid thing. It wasn't her. And then, at least, like, the pursuit on the roof, Robin gets caught up in Catwoman's net. Bye-bye, Birdie. See you soon. So, Robin, again, a little standoffish with Batgirl, kind of lumping her as an amateur, which, again, she's not part of the team yet, so he's kind of looking at her as like, hey, like, let me do my job. And again, Robin's a little in the wrong here, let's be honest. He's not listening to reason here. He's, not one of Robin's flattering episodes. I mean, he earns points back.
It's really
later.
not, yeah.
He earns a few points back later, but it doesn't save him.
Just don't get in my way again, okay?
I love this runner of her calling him a dork. Kevin would be proud. So, next day, Babs, she finds a message on the campus bulletin board for the winged mouse. Basically, it was like right before their fight broke out, she said, bats are mice with wings, little girl.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Let's see. So, point being, the note says to meet at the Bayshore Pier, which they do, and Catwoman wants to do a little team-up because she was impressed by Batgirl. Batgirl was born at night, but not last night, my friend. I'll tell you why. Because she's got one condition. Okay, fine, but if you lie to me, you give yourself up. That's the deal. They shake on it. Very Julie Newmar-esque kind of Catwoman in this episode. You get that vibe at all?
Yeah, I did. And again, just want to point out the atmosphere, all the, all the crates and Catwoman's silhouette against the moon. Again, Dragon, we're savoring it. We're savoring it.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Fine wine.
I mean, Dong Yang's done great work over the years, but I've told you, man, season 3 was them developing a house style, and then certain episodes, oddly Catwoman episodes, but this one, I think the animation's just it's flawless, and then it gets even better, debatably, in Sub-Zero. That's what I'm saying. It's the Swan Song episodes. That's what they are. So, they gave us a bountiful feast in the end.
Yeah, they did.
The Last Supper. So, so Robin's calling Bruce because again, it's so odd. We have it's like
okay, yeah. Explain this, Dragon. Like, is there any background behind this?
Okay, if you're in a roundabout way, if you're asking me, was like Kevin Conroy unavailable? No, that wasn't the case.
I'm not asking you that. I'm just asking, like, was there a story reason that they decided to leave Batman out of the episode?
Well, okay, so the Batman's not in the episode mainly because they wanted to reintroduce Batgirl, and honestly, they truly wanted to showcase supporting characters. That's the main reason why. And again, we've seen like Batman at least 84 other episodes. I think we could do one where he's used minimally. I think that was their logic. Why the last one? No idea.
Sure.
But it's kind of funny. It's like in the '60s, like Get Smart. Like when Don Adams couldn't show up, he could only do like a little one scene cameo. It really is what it feels like, and really like the throwback in that regard. It's kind of like when we couldn't get our main star, we got to write him out somehow, but we got him for once. Like Carol O'Connor and all the family, like all sorts of examples like that. But they would have never gotten away with this if they didn't have that dream sequence of it, because we have to get Batman in the episode at least once. It's like the Incredible Hulk rules. You got to get at least one Hulk out per episode, or else why are people turning on the show? Okay, so Dick's calling. Robin is calling Bruce in Paris, and the idea is he's doing a Wayne. He's on a trip to Paris, and he can't leave because this Wayne Corp merger. It's going to be vital to the European market.
Sure, that's why Batman's not in the final proper episode.
Yeah.
Dragon is just in retrospect.
Yeah, look, I'll fully say again, I really wish Deep Freeze was the last episode because one, it would have bled
Look, we
perfectly.
got Sub-Zero, Dragon. That's the swan
That's what
song.
I'm saying. So it all balances out. Anyway, so Batman cautions Robin to watch out for Selina's mind games. Really good, really good tip. Which let's just say is going to land Nightwing into some hot water next season.
Oh boy.
Little tease there. Let's see. And also, he hopes to himself probably, I hope Batgirl's in over her head on this one.
Mm.
Which, of course, cuts her in over her head as she's about to go into a den of crime and villainy with the stacked deck.
You're not scared, are you? Scared? No, of course not. Let's go. All right, so Dragon. This is the scene I was referring to, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about this scene. I think one of the big things is the way that the sound is done, like the background chatter. And of course the silhouettes with the pool tables, and it feels like Bashki, Dragon. It feels like Bashki. That's the best way I can describe it.
You're right about that, but also it feels like they kind of took what they toyed with and almost got them, but they really went full tilt with it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just a really, really cool, and of course, villain. These sort of like villain hideouts, like these seedy bars and stuff. They're always a fun location to go to in these shows. So, yeah, this scene really stood out to me for some reason, just on an atmospheric point of view.
Yeah, again, the very Flesher Superman like shadows in the background, sort of.
Absolutely.
So. All right, so point like Stack Deck's sleaziest dive in Gotham, but again, breeds information, also breeds guys who would notice a little something about a thing or two, and we have the chemist.
This guy was a lot of fun in his brief role.
Fun fact, Dan Reba, he loves to style characters after either people or other actors or other characters. So this guy's modeled after Dr. Sivana from the comics, for Captain Marvel's Dr. Sivana, like the Mark Strong character. I kept telling you. Remember, I kept glowing about how Mark Strong looks so much cooler than like the coolest version of Sivana ever, because Sivana's always basically looks like this guy, just sillier.
Yeah, gotcha.
This is what he looks like in the comics.
Okay, so I'm sorry. When you say you mean Shazam?
Yeah, Shazam's Dr. Sivana. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm bred into the old.
No, it's all good. When you said Mark Strong, I knew who you were talking about, but
yeah, I still hate that.
Just to clarify that.
Yes, Shazam. I'm old school. I don't know what to tell you. Back in the day, it was simpler.
I mean, I had a brief moment where I was like, wait, Mark Strong was in Captain Marvel, but then I was like...
No. The point being, this is what Sivana looked like in the comics, essentially, but still better than what he looks like in the comics.
Right.
Anyway, so the chemist, he knows also like this, that like got a bunch of guys with creeps with pickup lines that Catwoman just sets them all straight with the whip. Anyone else want to get fresh? All right, so chemist, he knows his acids and he can pinpoint where it came from. We have this great bit of Batgirl bat ropes into the chair and pulls him in. Really good teamwork there. Every acid every acid, explosive, and poison by its first name. Talk. So they show him the thing, and he says, "I love how interested he is by it. I love how good at his job this guy is."
Mm-hmm.
Local manufacturer, probably Axis, little 89 reference. Phoenix, and he runs because he knows what the third one is and he can't say it. So then a bar fight breaks out. Really good animation there. Good fight choreography too, like tossing tables and bikers across tables and flipping and stuff and silhouetted brawls. Big old bar fight.
Yeah.
Then they crashed. I gotta admit, this is a little mundane, but they crashed through the glass and steal some motorcycles. I gotta be honest though, they have to crash through because that's gonna have to be replaced and everything.
They could have just gone through the door.
That's what I'm saying. Look, I get there's an immediacy, but really, would it really kill just to go through the door? You had to break the man's glass. Anyway. So, just say, it just kind of bothered me on the rewatch. Like, yeah, why did they? If they threw a guy through the glass, I get it. But why?
The camera literally what do you think about it, Dragon? Because they just jump through the glass, and then the camera like pans to the door that was clearly not far away from the class. Anyways.
Yep. So, hey, you're still on bikes. So they have a little run-in with the GCPD as they're making their escape. Now it's a police chase. Like, oh, and this is funny. Oh, Daddy, if you could see your little girl now. So Catwoman makes a jump across a bridge that's under construction, which ensures their getaway. And Backer's like, oh, man, all of that for nothing. So, oh, not for nothing. You see how the chemist freaked? Only one guy in Gotham makes that acid, given that guy's reaction. And lucky for us, it's an old friend of mine. She says friend, so, oh boy, so ironically. A friend in quotes, this guy.
Ours too, Dragon.
Yeah.
Could say. I mean, not formally, but, you know, we love him from the beginning, from literally the genesis of our relationship.
That is true.
So.
All right, so Robin's on the trails, like has a listening device on the police scanner and everything. And then we end up, it's pointing Robin's in tow. He's going to take his good old time though, because we don't have a third act if he just shows up immediately. So we're in an abandoned lab, and this is where things get interesting, kids. This is where all my headcanon from early episodes comes from, Tiki. So Roland Daggett. This abandoned lab belonged to Roland Daggett, this is where he invented the Renew You drug that turned Matt Hagen into Clayface.
Right, right.
And where he developed the virus that almost killed Catwoman in Cat Scratch Fever.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're going through and they find the safe, and inside the safe, my God, it's the Jade Cat. So
yes, isn't it?
Nice to be right. Yes, isn't it? Says a familiar Ed Asner. Of course, the lovely Ed Asner.
Hey, it's Eddie Asner.
Yeah. So, I love him. I love my kiss him.
All right, let's not derail the whole thing. We could just go on a chuckle fest about that, but we're not going to.
Okay. No. So we have Daggett. I don't know if you caught this or not. This is hysterical. I completely forgot about this on the rewatch. So point being, Daggett has like a dramatic entrance. Like, yes, isn't it, as in being right?
Uh-huh.
And Daggett has great lighting on him, and the reason he has great lighting on him is that one of his henchmen is holding a light that he basically brought in there for the dramatic reveal.
Oh God!
Like a guy's just holding like a big old light fixture. I mean, look, if you want to look for the logic, well, the place probably.
You know what? That's just Don Yang being cocky, Dragon.
It is. That's what I'm saying.
It's like, awesome. Yeah, we just got someone literally holding a light to make the lighting in the scene more dramatic.
Yeah, I can't substantiate this. I can't substantiate this, but wouldn't it be awesome if sometimes overseas there are miscommunications within the translation. Uh-huh. So sometimes they'll take things literally, as in this case, where he's got a light right behind him, and perhaps like, we have this guy. I don't know. I mean, then again, it's like 3 seasons in, they probably would know at this point. So I can't verify, but it happens sometimes, kids. Anyway. So Roland Daggett, he's behind this whole thing and has got him at gunpoint, which is not good. So Selena Kyle, what a pleasure to see you again. The pleasure's all yours. We're leaving. I'm afraid you and your lovely young friend are staying forever.
Forever. Da da da.
Yeah. So actually, you know how Roland Daggett looks like Norman Osborn?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. It's a Ditko thing because he's modeled after Brandon Mordo, apparently, according to Dan Reba, the Doctor Strange bad guy.
Okay.
Right. He looks basically, but again, the idea is like Ditko draws these guys very similarly, so it is kind of Norman Osborn meets Baron Mordo. It's pretty much he's very Ditko inspired, which is kind of awesome. All right. So Daggett's clever scheme here, and this is the thing I wanted to kind of talk about for a second, is that Daggett's whole scheme is that he's going to steal a treasure that Catwoman is going to be blamed for. Pretty clever. And he's going to use the money to start over because, after his setback from the legal fees from his last encounter with the Batman. This is what I've been saying the whole time to you guys. Love the realistic idea of these business guys that are corrupt, corrupt bad guys in Batman, the big business types, like Rupert Thorne or Roland Daggett. Every time they get caught or nabbed by Batman, they don't walk away scot-free. They lose a little bit of their empire to the point where Roland Daggett, all he's got right now is the abandoned chemical factory. It's like just as much acid as he has left. He can't make new acid. He just has like acid that's going to do the job right now. Just love that.
Yeah, you're right. The show does kind of keep like a loose continuity of stuff like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's why his like schemes begin small time ever since the whole Matt Hagen Clayface thing.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of cool. Also, I like that it kind of symbolized Batman's winning the war on crime slowly, but he is winning. They're losing capital. Oh, it's
Sure,
nice.
sure.
Okay, so Catwoman, let's see, she's kind of clawing at the rope. She's fraying the ropes as Daggett monologues, as villains tend to do. And then Batgirl asks the big meta question. See, so you're gonna dangle us over these vats and put acid on the rope? Says, if there's one thing I've learned over the years is you crime fighting types are very resourceful. I'm just gonna have my men shoot you and throw your bodies over
I
into
love that.
vats.
Oh God.
Which is, yeah, it's really smart. I love how smart Daggett is in this episode. It's awesome.
If he didn't do so much monologuing, Robin probably wouldn't have gotten there in time, Dragon.
True. True. So Robin swings in, he takes out some of the gunmen. Batgirl, awesome, when she kicks around the other gunsoul. Catwoman, she's dealing with Daggett. Let's see, there's a bit where I think some Batgirl bites and flips one of the guys, and he's sorry, Catwoman does it. Catwoman bites and flips one of the guys, and he's dangling over a vat. So this is kind of Batman 101 stuff. If you're ever in a chemical plant, you're gonna end up with a guy dangling over a vat of chemicals.
Right, of course, yeah.
Difference is this guy's okay. He's a-okay. He's terrified, but he's okay. So
when he first fell, Dragon, I was like, "Oh my God, is that random guy gonna die on screen?"
Yeah, that's the difference between this and Zack Snyder's work, Tiki.
God.
Yeah, we don't just indiscriminately kill people.
Well, there's a lot of differences between this and Zack Snyder's Batman, Dragon. Let's be honest.
That is empirically true. So let's see. So Batgirl, let's see. So she's we got some action going on here. Basically she's she goes for a kick, and I love we kind of call out this. She goes for a kick, but without her arms here, she's kind of helpless when the guy grabs her leg and is about to toss her over. Robin comes in for the save, throws a batarang, frees her bonds, and a little team up action. Yeah. And they're like that more like, hey, not bad. Like, oh, these two crazy kids, if they only knew, they could get along and be happy and stuff, Anyway. So then we have a very Batman 89 staging with Catwoman on the literal catwalk to take Daggett down, nab the statue. She leaves him dangling by a chain. To be fair, he did start it. He whacked her with something, so he kind of brought that on himself because he literally falls, and then she's like, Catwoman finds an opportunity for revenge here. Now you know how it feels to look the Grim Reaper in the eye, the same way I felt. Which, yeah, that's karma for you.
All right, so then Catwoman essentially flees at this point, right?
Yeah, she has this really great getaway thing here where Batgirl shows up and says, hey, look, if you let him fall, you're no better than he is. And then we have Adrienne Barbeau. One, she's been wonderful as Catwoman this whole episode, by the way, which is great. But she has this great line, oh, grow up, and just drops Daggett. It's just this great call. Basically, this is the point. See, this is why I want to retroactively give extra points to Catwalk, Tiki, because these two episodes are like what Catwoman should have been at the start of the animated series. She's kind of past the point of no return. She's a thief. We got all like a clear-cut thief, no environmental thing. It's just, what? I didn't swear on the spirits of my dead parents. I don't care. It's just like there's no way of her and Batman, getting past it morally. With her point of no return after Catwalk, she's like no redemptive path for Catwoman. So let's see. So Batgirl and Robin, they catch Daggett right before there, and Robin does a nice gesture. He kind of buys some points back here. Not enough, but he buys a few back. Says, relax. You've had a busy day. Like, I'm going to hold Daggett here. You go get Catwoman, champ.
Yeah, that's a great Lauren Lester line.
Yeah. So then we have the full circle climax here where Catwoman's jumping over a rooftop, and again, like the dream, Batgirl, using a grappling gun, because that's realistic, she actualizes the moonshot from the dream, going across and saving the day.
I do like that Catwoman just freaking whips across the neon sign.
Yeah.
Like almost Spider-Man-esque.
Oh, yeah. So that's kind of how they do in the Arkham games, too. She basically is like a Spider-Man sort of like grappling gun.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the cops take notice of this and they're heading to the roof slowly but surely as well, to kind of get to the big kind of ending of the thing. We have a sweet move, this really awesome move by Batgirl, where basically she catches Catwoman mid-leap with a bowler wrap, like throws it around her feet just as she leaps and catches her, which is awesome, man, and then catches the statue before it breaks.
Yeah.
You were going to keep it all along, weren't you? Of course I was. Only the strong survive in this game, man. And says, yes, I was playing. I'm sorry, do you want to go through some of this? Or
No, you can wrap it up.
basically, like, oh, you were playing. I was playing with you at the start at first, but look, we make a good team. Then Catwoman makes her play here. Says, together, we could pick the town clean. Not even Batman could be a match for us. And the cops, pshaw. The cops there.
Which I got to say, that was a cocky move on Catwoman's part, man. She was kind of like, I don't know. She should have known she wasn't going to be able to get away with that.
Yep, and this is the bigger. The cops are a joke, especially that senile fool Gordon, and that's what.
If she only knew, Dragon.
If she only that's too far, Catwoman. She oversteps. That's too far, lady. And I love that. You gotta remember, in the animated series, the creation of Batgirl from the opener of season 3, her whole thing is saving her father. Her whole thing is honoring her father with the getup. It's honoring her father and the Batman himself. So that I just love that we crystallizes everything she's about. The minute Catwoman says that, just crystallizes how far Catwoman's gone, but also Batgirl is the conscience of Barbara Gordon. That's what creates Batgirl. So obviously this thing can never happen. So Batgirl brings up their little deal. And then she seemingly surrenders herself willfully to the cops, and clears Batgirl's name. Catwoman trying to earn some points here.
That's a good gesture on her part. Yeah.
This is a really fun callback. I love that in the last episode we bring this guy back. It's a really early pull from season 1. The officer, the young red-headed officer with the hair, that's Officer Wilkes from way back in season 1, the big Montoya episode, POV. Well, really introduced Montoya, and he was the other cop, and it was Bullock, her, and Wilkes, and we brought him back.
Oh man, that feels like a far off memory, Dragon. That feels like another lifetime ago.
I know, right? I really appreciate we brought, because every time I'm like listening off the GCPD cops, a part of me always thinks, yeah, what about Wilkes, man? Who's like as a beat cop? It's pretty good.
Right.
So, they arrest Catwoman, they put her away, and she says, you should have said yes, but then I'd be a rat with wings instead of a mouse with wings. So the car drives away. Robin gives Batgirl some points, like, you know what? I knew you had her I knew you had it all along. I was with you all along. Says, you're a lousy liar, but thanks for trying. So again, these two, they get a little closer. They work best. So the car stops, and what happens?
Catwoman basically finagles her way out of the cuffs and just kicks the officers out of the car. I will admit, I like that the end of the episode is basically a punchline, Dragon.
Yeah, again, it's a great Catwoman ending. I gotta be honest.
It is great. Yeah.
I said I'd let she took the guns and kicked the cops out of the car and steals the car, and on her way out, she has this great line. I said I'd let them take me in. I never said how far. That's just so shrewd. And then as Robin's about to give chase, Batgirl stops him. It's kind of like a Jake that it's like, sorry Jake, it's Chinatown, or that sort of thing, where it's
a little bit, yeah,
a little bit. We're like, hey, there's going to be another time. We got her. We'll get it next time. It's okay, man.
Nice. All right, so Dragon, final thoughts. I definitely I appreciated this a little bit more than I did on my initial viewing. Certainly the animation and the atmosphere is the high point, absolutely. And Catwoman and Batgirl's dynamic is a lot of fun, too. And do I wish there was a little bit more Batman? Yeah, but I get why he's not there. They're kind of, they're setting up the Batgirl story, and Robin's more important to that. So it feels like a weird episode to end off the series proper, but then again, I have to remember that we do have... we do have Sub-Zero as the big thing, sort of as the swan song. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Sub-Zero, and I am Dragon. It's going to be so sad to say goodbye to Don Yang, man.
Yep, but you're going to have one last feast, my friend.
The last supper.
All right, so final thoughts for me. Again, gorgeous episode. Again, some of Dong Yang's finest work. And I should also mention this, too, is the delineate. So, Sub-Zero, they kind of lucked into Sub-Zero being their finale, in essence, for the original animated series, because this was essentially the network didn't pick them up for any. I guess the network didn't pick up for any more in the original line. They changed networks and they revamp. That's another reason we have the revamp. They changed networks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in a sense, like, this is they kind of lucked into going back to the old well of the style for Sub-Zero. So this essentially was an ending, which again, I even not at knowing that we get Sub-Zero now is great. But it really makes you wish. I mean, I don't mind an episode without Batman. I really don't. But what bothers me is the fact that this was like the last taste in the mouth, for all intents and purposes, until Sub-Zero. Like the fact, like this was the last one. Really, you couldn't end with Deep Freeze. Is like it's like think of the highest milestone.
Deep Freeze really should have. They really should have just switched the.
I know that's the thing.
Like Dragon, in my head canon, that's what I'm going to just kind of think of.
I know. See, that's what I'm saying. Because think about it. The high mark of the animated series was Heart of Ice, debatably, and then you would have your perfect mirrored ending with, with Deep Freeze. It'd be perfect.
I will remind people of my hot take opinion on Deep Freeze. Number one, it was my favorite episode of season 3. Not necessarily the best, but my favorite. And there's a delineation there for sure.
Sure.
And number 2, I do think it's overall a better episode than Heart of Ice, which I think is the big hot take. But I'm sticking to it.
But sure, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the point being, that's the biggest regret. That's the only that's the nitpick I have with the episode, only because Switch Over. But that's not the episode's fault. They made, for all intents.
It's really not.
Yeah, it's really not. They just did a really good episode. It's different from the rest. I can't fault them for that. It's nice fleshing out and reintroducing Batgirl, like the returns all around. Like think about it: return of Roland Daggett, return of Catwoman, return of Batgirl. It's like a lot of returns. Classic Catwoman, little Julie Newmar. What's not to love? There's a lot of fun stuff in here. Again, it's a fun one to go back to. Not the not the go-to for season 3. So no Demon's Quest, no Deep Freeze, but it's fun. It's quite nice. And again, it's some of Dong Yang's finest work. So there you go.
All right, take us out.
Polar bears in Gotham. Nora Freeze in peril. Batgirl, the key? Can Batman and Robin find Barbara Gordon before it's too late? Will Mr. Freeze ice the dynamic duo to save his wife? Will Batman the Animated Series go out with a bang or a whimper? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next episode of Batman the Animated Series with Sub-Zero.
Hey, Babs!